Welcome. In this video, we'll be taking a look at how to solve word problems again. So again, I'm going to refer back to this general strategy, and it may be that we don't use all the pieces again, but these are at least some steps to consider as we're going through and solving this. So let's take a look at number one. Number one says that Joe has scored a 78, 67, 86, and 88 on his previous 4 tests. What score does he need on his next test so that his average is 77? Well, my first step, as always, is to write down exactly what I'm supposed to do. So if I look at the question and write it in my own words, our goal is to find Joe's 5th score. So again, since we don't know what his 5th score is at the moment, I'm going to call that X for us. And now this is going to be a situation where it's going to be difficult, I think, to draw a picture. So let's skip down to step 3, where we're kind of labeling relevant pieces of information. Well, they give us these 4 other scores, and then they also tell us that we ultimately want the average to be 77. So how do you find average? Well, average means that we'd be adding up all of his scores, including the one we don't know, and then dividing by the number of scores. So if we do that, we'll have 78 plus 67 plus 86 plus 88. Those are his first 4 scores. Plus we know he's going to have another score which we don't know. So I would add up all those numbers first. Then what I would do is I would divide my answer, in this case by 5, because there are 5 scores. And I know that the average that I'm supposed to get is 77. Okay, well, let's take a look and see if we can figure out how to solve this particular equation. So the first thing that I'm going to do is actually get rid of this division by 5. So the way to get rid of division by 5 is to do its opposite. So I'm going to multiply everything by 5. So I'm going to recopy what I've got, which is 78 plus 67 plus 86 plus 88 plus X all over 5 equals 77. And I'm going to multiply this whole side by 5 and the other whole side by 5. And now, again, when I multiply something by 5 and then divide by 5, that really just cancels out those 5s. They're gone. And they become 1. 5 divided by 5 is 1. On the other side, 77 times 5 is going to give me 385. So what's left is 78 plus 67 plus 86 plus 88 plus X equals 385. And if I add all of these numbers together, 78, 67, 86, and 88, again, this is one of those exercises where they're going to give you a calculator. So if we go ahead and add those numbers, we've got 78 plus 67 plus 86 plus 88, and that's 319. So we've got 319 plus X equals 385. And then if I want to get X alone, that means I have to undo this 319. I have to cancel it out somehow, so I'm going to subtract it from both sides. And if I do 385 minus 319, I'm going to get a score of 66. And now, have I answered the question? Well, I was supposed to find Joe's 5th score, which was X, and that's exactly what I did. Okay, I want you guys to try number 3, pause the video, and then restart when ready. So again, number 3 is similar to number 1 that we just worked on, in that our goal is to find the number of miles on the last day, or on the 5th day. So find the number of miles on day 5, which we don't know right now, so we're going to call that x. What we do know, though, is that if we look at the first 4 days, they give us how many miles that Nicole traveled on each of the first 4, and they also tell me her average. So if I incorporate all that information, that gives me 47 plus 65 plus 70 plus 48 plus x divided by 5 has to equal 58. And now again, if I multiply everything by 5, multiply this side by 5, and multiply this side by 5, the 5's cancel over here. Whoops, that 47 wasn't supposed to. So all that should be left then is 47 plus 65 plus 70 plus 48 plus x. On the other side, we should get an answer of 290. And now if we add the pieces together, on the left-hand side, if we combine our like terms, we'll have 47 plus 65 plus 70 plus 48 is equal to 230. Plus x equals 290. And then to get x alone, I'm going to subtract 230 from both sides. And my final answer is that x equals 60. And now, have I answered the question? Well, the question was to find the number of miles on day 5, which is what we called x, and we got an answer of x equals 60.